style of ruling, because we've seen that particular style of ruling hasn't been working. It hasn't made Nigeria great, because everybody knows that Nigeria is actually a very big country, and yes, Nigeria is supposed to be the giant of Africa. But then, if you're using, well, you can't take it away from us. But the giant of Africa has to lead right. If we're the giant of Africa, we have to lead a certain way that all the other African countries can actually emulate from us. Because people say, oh, like even with these elections, people are saying, oh, we're all looking up to Nigeria, looking up. If Nigeria gets it right, Africa will get it right. We haven't been getting it right. That just means that. And that is the change people are craving for. Even though fresh air and all that, if somebody else comes in, if PDP comes today, if APC comes today, I'm sure what just happened in this election will ginger them. They will realize that we are tired. And like what he said, they need to work together. They need to work together, because the past governance hasn't favored us in any way. It's been tribalistic. No, seriously, and we don't need that. We really don't need that, honestly, because Nigeria is a big country. You can't say you're going to like favor just one side. You have to try to favor the different states. If it's too big, then you know what to do. If it's too big for you, then you know what to do. You understand?
Right. I mean, what's your take on the governance style and structure since 1999 to be?
I think we have improved. In 1999, he met a very bad governance from once he's inheriting from the military, and he did his best. It might not be enough, but he did his best. When he was able to give us a very good man. May so rest in peace, late Umaru Yaradua. And the man changed. He changed the system under 3 years. He did what former President Obasanjo could not do in 8 years, and we're so happy. This is the first president that has ever reduced fuel pump from 75 to 65. He did a lot of things, but very unfortunate we lost him. If we had that man.
I'll have you hold on to your thoughts there, because Barry Indo is joining us. He is the publicity secretary of the PDP Ghana chapter. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing very well. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Great. Thank you for joining us. You have been monitoring the elections. Your thoughts so far?
So far, we can see clearly that the APC government in Nigeria has failed the people. The APC government in Nigeria has failed to live up to the expectation that even in Lagos State, the man who called himself the Lagos landlord has actually lost to a Labour Party and a non-party. As I speak to you, they are trying everything possible to ensure, particularly in Rivers State, to ensure that our votes do not count. So far, the election has not been totally free and fair. A lot of people are complaining of intimidation and voter suppression, especially in parts of Rivers State. But we are watching and we are waiting to see, as the collection of results continues, for us to know exactly what is going on. But for now, so far, we doubt the credibility of INEC, because they gave us a promise that with the beavers, that there will be less instance of corruption in terms of voting system. We are sure that once we come to the election day and cast our vote, that our vote will count. As I speak to you, some states are yet to send in national headquarters. As I speak to you, parts of Imo State, a lot of people are not even allowed to vote. People did not vote in some places in Imo State. So for now, people are not happy. People are not totally excited. People at all the billions of money they ask the government, the monies you are giving to them. But it is unfair that as I speak, most of the states, most of the places in Imo, most of the places in Akwa Ibom, most of the places in Abia, people could not even vote. So Nigerians are waiting. We are hoping that this particular election will not make Nigeria go haywire, because the young people are annoyed, the young people are so agitated, they are not excited anymore what's going on in this election. That is the reality on ground. As I speak to you, I'm in Port Harcourt, I voted here, I just left the collection center a few minutes ago so that I can be on this Zoom call. Everybody is annoyed, everybody feels that our votes are not totally counted, in the sense that we were given a promise that once you come to the National Collection Center, and everything is meant to be seen clearly. But that is not exactly what is happening right now. That is the point of my argument.
But Barry, wouldn't you because at least we've seen efforts to announce some results in real time?
I understand where you are coming from. Truly speaking, no system is perfect. I agree with you that no system is perfect. To some extent, we may say that INEC may have done a good job, but we are saying that with the kind of money that have been put into INEC, the kind of money that we released to INEC, the kind of promise INEC gave to Nigerians, we expected better. That's exactly what I'm saying. We expect better than this. We expect better than this.
Now, if you say you expected better than this, really, what structures were you hoping to see in place to ensure that it met the standards you talk of?
So I didn't get you clearly.
I'm asking that if you say you expected better, what measures or structures were you hoping to see?
What we expected was, once you come into your polling center to cast your vote, we are told that once you come to your polling center to cast your vote, you top print, the beaver captures you. Within a few seconds, you are meant to vote. Once the people in that particular center end up casting their vote, immediately the numbers, immediately we are sure that it will be transmitted straight to the state server, from there straight to the National Collection Center, where the result will be announced electronically. That is what we are assured of. We are not saying that INEC has not improved, but we are saying that they could have done better, and I insist on this because I saw many people. In fact, do you know that on election day, some people never started voting till around 3 p.m. on Saturday? Some never voted at all. So you have denied these people the opportunity to vote in who they wanted, as their president, or as their House of Rep member, or as their senator. The presidency approved all the money you needed. You had 4 years. On the day of election, in a particular state, especially in the east, these guys never came till around 3 p.m. In some places in Abia, they never came at all. INEC had to reschedule the election to today.
Right, now Barry, let's talk about...
Yes, they might have been.
Let's talk about...
For me, the surprise is that even Lagos State, we expected that Labour Party would have even won more than the number we saw there, because a lot of people from different polling centers were showing the results of their different polling centers, and we are following up actually. So we expected that even the Lagos State that Tinubu lost, we expected that it could have lost more than that particular number. I feel personally that margin is still too small. Again, in Kwara, some of the agents in Kwara are complaining that the number of the voter, the number of the results are actually higher than the registered voters. And if you watch the National INEC Collection Center, some of them were asking the INEC chairman to give them the opportunity to explain, but he wasn't allowing that. The PDP agent was trying to explain to them that most of the votes in Kwara, in Ekiti, where they've given APC a huge number of votes, sincerely speaking, the numbers do not correspond. I have taken my own time. I wish I had more time. I have taken my time to cross It doesn't correspond. It doesn't correspond at all. So if INEC really wants to save the face of Nigeria, the entire world is looking up to Nigeria. Africa is looking up to Nigeria. They are hoping us to perform better. We cannot afford to fail Africa. This election could have been a very free and seamless exercise. We saw places in Lagos where cows were forcing the people to vote a particular candidate. The policemen were looking without doing anything. How can we continue like this? I'm so annoyed with the election.
All right, I'll have you hold on.
State to send in their results and let us see exactly and begin to compare, because we have our own men on ground in all the states, and I'm sure they are comparing results, and soon we are going to know exactly what's going to happen.
All right, Barry, do stay on and stay with us. Let me come back in studio. Tayo, before we went to Barry, we were discussing governance since 1999, but Barry sort of raises some very serious points. I want to throw that to you on some of the issues that he has raised.
Barry is speaking in that manner, and we need to be very careful the way we speak about this election and our nation, because election, politics will go, our nation will remain. We need to protect the integrity of our institution and the INEC. The INEC, they've done well. You introduce him as a PDP publicity secretary, and he's speaking for Labour Party. Where is he consistent? What is his problem with Labour Party? He should be able to talk about his party, why his party are doing poorly. It's because of their failure in 16. Prefer them than bringing back the PDP electricity, and they brought darkness for it. They sold NEPA. So why is he not proud of talking about his own party? You said you all knows that we have the issue of naira scarcity. For scarcity for some months, and those policies were implemented wrongly. But Mr. President met there was no naira scarcity. There would be so much vote buying, and that is what they will be shouting today, that APC has used money to buy votes. The INEC had a logistic issue. They still got there, even if they got late. That was the reason why the election was extended to.
So therefore, you agree with him that really in some areas there were delays in the process.
There will surely, even in the United States. We are could do 176,600 polling units. And when we are having problem in 10, 20 units, and we are complaining, we are trying to rubbish the entire process. That is unfair to Nigeria. That is unfair to INEC. I think the way he's talking, he should be careful, and they should know the way they collate this result. You have your result from the polling unit, and you go to the ward. From ward, you go to local government before you go to the constituency collation. When you get there, when they are calling it, if the result is different from there, you correct it before they will take the presidential result to national collation.
But that's how it's been done. Because prior to the election, we were promised results in real time.
Exactly.
We are promised the result, but when INEC make those pronunciations, do we have first scarcity time? Do we have naira scarcity then? There's
for the same reasons that such an amount of money was voted for INEC to do what
this is. You can give me money here. I'm paying you to go fast and go and get me a rice at the junction. You don't know what will happen to
me, made all your projections and anticipations in asking for such an amount.
I'm not saying people shouldn't complain, but you should look at the statistic. If you promised me 10 bread and you gave me 8, and I'm still blaming you, I'm being unfair. So we need to look at the statistic of 176,600 polling units, and we had problem in about 10,500 polling units. And you're talking, even if we have problem in 1,000 units, the election is still credible and fair. So let's be realistic. This is Africa. I'm telling you the fact, my sister. If we have problem in 1,000 polling units, the election is still. You should put it. Problem.
would we not want to see an incident-free election?
Exactly.
We want that, but we will get there. But we should come and focus on the achievement. Let's put the achievement we have made. In 2019, there was so much vote buying, and many people that don't supposed to win election won election through vote buying. That couldn't happen, and most of them, they've lost the election. Why people are not talking about that? I think we need to be fair to our leaders, not because it's my government that is Baba Hub, President Mahmoud Buhari is from my political party, but we need to be fair. Don't let us be rubbish at anything that comes from wrong. That's why
you seem to have some reservations to what you're saying.
Yes, I was going to ask him, maybe, is he talking from the side of, being from APC, obviously, and I feel that's what's happening, because the first thing he did is, tell the other guy that, you're talking from PDP side, But me, I'm just going to be in the middle.
I want us to make stats. I always work on statistics.
Okay.
They should mention them. And let's say maybe we have failed. If my children bring a report sheet, I don't ask them maybe you came first or second. I look at your percentage. If you have given me 60, 65, 70, I will just encourage you, do more. You have done well. And I will give them the hug. So let's look at the statistic and look at how many polling units.
Are you giving INEC 65?
I'm not giving INEC 65. I'm giving them 85.
Wow. 85?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I'm telling
that's
you.
Huge.
That is super huge.
The reason why I'm saying that, one, I did not witness vote buying, which the voting of the people, no matter the number of the people that voted, it has displayed the mandate of the people.
Okay.
That's my biggest
I
job.
understand.
I think the incidents are so minimal.
I really understand where the PDP guy is coming from. He said to spend a lot of money to put this election together.
Yeah.
I mean, INEC got their budget, and their budgets, let me just put it out there. The budget was announced today, and their budget is $400 million. Yeah.
Wait. It's Naira.
No, Naira converted to dollars.
Million.
Yeah,
okay, million.
yes, because in Naira it was in billions.
Yes,
$400 million.
And Naira almost hit a
yes, and then
billions.
and then we are
a lot of money.
And then, okay, first of all, we haven't seen the materials that you bought with those 400 million, whatever. You said you're going to buy machines that are going to be putting the numbers in real time. This is not going to be an issue of I'm talking because I support a certain party, but we all saw it. And that's why I like the world that we live in now, the world of technology, where everybody can actually pick up their phone and then put, $4, and then like even the materials that you bought, those rubber containers that they used to sell Gary in the markets, is that what we, and those materials were costing about $60 million. I'm like, wow, you understand? So yes, I understand where he's coming from, and there have been a lot of irregularities when it comes to collating the results, and yes, there might not be an issue of and rigging going on, because it was clear. Because for what he said that there's this number of there's an number of people that voted, but then at the end of the day, the numbers were not correlating with what was on the paper.
Yeah.
Things that INEC announced was not correlating to what was brought, because people had pictures, and that's why I said I'm glad with this whole social media age, because yeah. Our phones are speaking for us. Our phones are our evidence these days. And then we should not say because it's our party, we have to, act blind to it. Because this is something everybody is seeing. There's a problem. And as we speak today, I'm sure we all know that the PDP agents and Labour Party agents are all there. election. So yes, I feel like there's a problem. I'm not there, but from what I've seen, there's a problem. And from the monies or the amount that is spent on, buying the materials, these so-called materials, world of technology, that things are supposed to be working. Hey, Charlie. Come on.
Let's go back to Barry. Barry is still online. He's still with us. Barry, now out of about 176,846 polling units, we've received results, or we've seen results of about some 58 or 59,000. This is according to the IREV. Now, how soon do you think we'll have a clear picture of how the elections is going to go?
Okay, so now just trying to. Speaking as a Nigerian, this election has gone beyond political party alliance. You should try to understand that we are trying to save our country. We are no longer doing political party affiliation. I cannot, because I'm a member of APC, and decide to support a governor or a president that I know is not. I'm speaking as a man who wants the best of my country. I'm speaking as a man who cannot support handing over the destiny of more than 200 million Nigerians to a man who is not well, handing over the destiny of 200 million Nigerians to a campaign stages. How can we do this to ourselves? How can young people still be doing political party alliance when your country is burning? What are we talking about? The mental capacity of young people in Nigeria, we are able to do more than we are doing right now. We are sitting down in media houses, sitting down in our home talking about political party. We have gone beyond that. I'm not doing political party now. I'm doing nationhood. That is where I stand right now.
Well, no. Initial question, and then let's find out how soon are we expecting to have a clear picture.
Like I said, for me, where I sit here, I just left the collation here in Rivers State. They've just ended. They just ended that. So now the states are expected to start sending in their results, and they are meant to arrive at the capital to be able to announce the results of the collation they had in different local governments of their state. So hopefully, like tomorrow, today, maybe 4, 5, 6 more states may come in. I'm sure they may want to break around 6 this evening or 5. Then did not hold. Election will be holding there today according to INEC. So we hope that by the time they finish those collations, and today is Monday, by Tuesday, hopefully by Wednesday, we should be able to have a fair idea. That is, if INEC will remain transparent, if INEC will remain credible, because people are annoyed, people are angry, and we hope they don't exercise that anger on the INEC as it stands right now.
All right.
Now, let me tell you.
If we're looking at Tuesday to have a clear picture, then that's typical of the past elections.
Just 1 minute.
Go ahead.
In Rivers State, the young man was saying there was no. I'm telling him he's not saying the truth. I covered in Rivers State where people were forced to vote APC. Why? Because
forced
the
by who?
There have decided to align with Tinubu.
Barry, sorry, you say we're forced. Forced by who? I mean, if you can give us some more meat to this, I mean, expatiate a little further. You said people were forced. Forced by who?
What I'm saying is, you and I know that in Rivers State, for instance, the governor, who is actually a PDP person, currently have an issue with the PDP presidential candidate. So he advised and he mandated all local government chairmen and special advisors to ensure that they deliver Tinubu. Now, on the day of the election on Saturday, because sincerely speaking, Rivers State people are more in line with the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. I have to be sincere with you. It's not my party, but that is the reality on ground. Like I said, I'm not doing party politics right now. I'm doing things that will better the country that we all live in. Now, these people we are asked, when you get to the police station, they will ask you, who are you voting? I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm saying what I saw. I have video evidences on my phone that I can share with you if you want me to do that on your personal WhatsApp and see what was going on Saturday. So if you say there was no vote buying, that is not totally true. That is not totally true. People were compelled to vote on the instruction of the governor of that state. That is why you see on social media today, a lot of people in Port Harcourt are shouting that their vote, the person they voted, they are not seeing it at the talking live here. I'm talking live from here where things are happening. Where people are that their votes are not being accounted for because the governor of the state has forced them, has mandated his boys. People we are beating. Are you aware that the day before the election, bomb exploded in two different houses of people who are against the governor? That is what is happening. I'm talking of facts. I can share videos with you right away, not tomorrow. They are compelled to vote against their conscience. People are chased away. That is the reality of ground. That's not a fair election. That is not a fair election. I'm not saying that INEC has totally failed, no, but I'm saying that considering the billions of money given to these people, are you aware that even at some point, security men will be watching? There's a video in Lagos where the security men we are watching live. The security men we are watching live. Watching live. These men we are there. I wrote in the Nigerian police force Facebook page that this is not how to conduct a fair election, because the security agents were there and you look so handicapped. The money they paid you guys, what did you use the money for? The coppers, the youth coppers that we are meant to stand out, the people who are serving the nation for 1 year, who are supposed to be real, who are supposed to look at the future of their country. Some of them were collecting money in Imo State and competing votes against a particular candidate. What is wrong with Africa? What is wrong with Africa?
All right, Barry.
I've said it. If this election doesn't go well, I will hands off Nigeria totally because I'm annoyed, I'm pained. Why are we doing this? Because of political party gain. Because your father or mother will be appointed and you want to go and benefit and others will be suffering for the next 4 years. Let's tell ourselves the truth for God's sake.
All right, Barry, we urge you to calm down, though. Clearly, you are agitated, but please do calm down. But thank you so very much. Barry Indo is a publicity secretary of the Ghana chapter of the PDP. We have a journalist on the line. Femi Olanipekun, he is joining us. Let's speak to him and find out where he has covered so far and what the situation is there. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. Where have you covered so far since Saturday? Which areas have you been to and what can you...
All right, so I've been based largely here in my home state of Osun in southwest Nigeria.
Okay.
And the governorship election in Osun State is the last one conducted before we have the general elections. So outside the general elections that come every 4 years, there are 7 states in Nigeria that hold what we call off-cycle elections. So elections into these states do not go with the general elections of the other, to other states because of judicial pronouncements at one time or the other. So their own governorship elections do not go with the other general elections. So in Osun State here is where I've covered. Osun has 30 local governments. The president the candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu, by and the governorship election that was held in July last year was also won by the PDP, ending about 12 years of the APC in that state. So the victory of the PDP at Atiku Abubakar in Osun State is a follow-up, from the victory of the governor some 6 months earlier, thereabout. So that's the situation we have all of our reporters all over the country also, and we have partners on. As much as we are based here, we're also monitoring developments across the nation.
Based on the voting patterns over the years, these results that have been declared orally, is this surprising or not?
Well, I mean, so this year's election has been very, very surprising. This is one of the most keenly contested elections since the return of democracy in 1999. So before now, what we've had is being sort of a duopoly between the PDP and the other parties. So in 1999 it was the PDP. Moving on, we had parties like the ACN, but it's always been a two-horse race. But this election, we've seen very, very strong. In fact, we have a third major party which is at the cusp of winning at least a state now. But the Labour Party of Peter Obi has been, a destructive influence in this race. So it's been unlike what we've seen since 1999. You've seen young people shown more interest, more enthusiasm in this election. You've also seen the election going along ethnic and religious lines more this election, unlike before. And so if you check the pattern of results coming out, in Lagos, '99 to go to the hands of the opposition as we have it now. The Labour Party that before now, you don't recognize of the master strategist himself, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is national leader of the ruling APC, and is also many people credit him to have helped to install the president Muhammadu Buhari in 2015. Not many people saw that coming, that Bola Tinubu will lose Lagos and that Peter Obi will win in Lagos. Hope that by Wednesday we'll have a clearer picture. The election management body INEC will be able to announce a winner, but by tomorrow we should have a clearer picture, because results are coming in from the north. There is a lot of fake news on social media, so you need to be very careful, extremely careful with what you believe around this time. Lots of misinformation, some deliberate misinformation. So it's important that you wait for the INEC officials to announce the results. And there are concerns of voter suppression in many places. There are concerns of intimidation, of violence in many quarters. There are also concerns about, especially of Lagos, now that this election has turned out to be like this. And many people did not see what happened in Lagos happening. Many people never envisaged it, but it has happened. And it goes to show the level of discontent, the level of disenchantment with the system, especially with young people. Because the pattern of the voting in Lagos, for instance, is a combination of the people of the Igbo tribe, who are mainly from the southeast, who are, a sizable number in Lagos on one hand, then middle class riot. Those who are middle class folks who are disappointed by the government, and some supporters of the sitting vice president, Yemi Osinbajo, who has an appeal with young middle class folks who did not get the ticket of the APC. So all of these factors to put together, all of them Peter Obi, and that is what we have seen. He's making inroads to areas where you ordinarily wouldn't have thought of it. I mean, we expected that he's going to get some very good votes from the southeast, where he is from. He's doing very well in the south also, the neighboring region to the southeast. But he's also doing Well, incidentally, it may not win, but then making some inroads into some states in the north that are very Muslim ticket of the APC. That explains why Labour Party is doing well in some parts of the South. You know, Nigeria is, delicately balanced between Christians and Muslims. So religion is a very sensitive issue. Ethnicity is a very sensitive issue. And people do not take lightly to when they feel that some the results here. I mean, other than Osun here, where the opposition PDP has won, Bola Tinubu is from the southwest region, so he has cleared pretty much most of the other states in the southwest. Peter Obi is doing well in the southeast, Bar Imo states, and so it's been a very tight race. We may not be able to call who wins yet on.
All right, that was Olufemi. He works with Rave FM in Nigeria. He covered Osun State, and he was just giving us the results that have been called orally there. And clearly, it looks like, despite not really coming tops, the Labour Party is making some inroads in the elections in Nigeria. I was going to go to him and ask him about the performance of the Labour Party in Osun State and the likely impact in all 6 geopolitical zones, because he did mention that the difference between the APC and the PDP was just some 10,000 votes. So if we're able to establish the performance of the Labour Party, then it gives a telling on how it will look nationally, on a national level. But then we know that really he's won Lagos State, which is quite huge, but was expected, wasn't it?
It was not expected.
It wasn't?
I never expected it to win.
Got more of the youth now interested in elections.
I think I explained that. Already sent a signal, and has already sent a signal. So the APC and PTP need to sit up. What Peter Obi is doing now is that whosoever that wins this election must do the needful. Nigerians are not ready to listen to story. We have done it. The next level now is not about roads you have built, what you have done. Nigerians are moving to the next level to be accountability of how much did you use to do the road of 1 kilometer compares to the international standard. So these are what that will happen after the swearing of the new president. And I think they have seen it too. You see, I said it earlier. This is not the first time a non-Yoruba, a non-Lagosians will win Lagos State. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe from Southeast won Lagos State in 1979. Are you getting NCNC? So, but you know, people expected so much from Asiwaju to win Lagos, which is reasonable. Because I myself, I'm telling you, I never expected, and I've been mad with my people in Lagos State. How could you do that? Because the reason why I was mad is if I did been 5 million voters came out and we lost to Obi, I won't give it. But we have 30%. We are having less than 1.1 million or 1.5 million voters that came. That is about 30% of the registered voters, which doesn't make sense to me. I expected them to have prepared for this because the NSAS guys are hungry. Peter Obi has added his consumption to production to it.
Hungry?
I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. The reason why I'm not hungry is that I know the procedure. I don't sit on the fence. That was the reason why I joined the political party. I didn't join the political party to make money or whatever, but to build my nation, to support the government with policy and idea how to do it. Right. It's my nation. I don't need the president or the governor cannot know everything. And when I'm putting the policy, they do it this is the policy, this is policy you have introduced, it won't work. Let's do it this way. Should be able to listen to it and work. So that should be my responsibility as a Nigerian, not to be sitting and be in the history of Nigeria does not have the highest turnout voters.
Okay.
We have Kaduna, we have Kano, we have Katsina.
But you know what happens in Kaduna?
Kaduna, yes.
You know what happens?
You guys are doing well.
No, you know what happens.
because I've sent you to obedience now.
No. You know what happens in the north with, minors.
Yes, that must surely happen. You see, this election, what we don't understand is we have three
typically
candidates.
what will happen? It will sway to the minor parties?
No, the minors are voting.
The Northerns are with PDP and APC. The southern part is where His Excellency Peter Obi is making the waves. And you need to understand that ethnicity will play out in this election.
Peter Obi is originally from the south.
From the southeast.
Southeast.
That's the reason why you are having about 80 to 90% of vote coming out from the southeast for Peter Obi. That's the reason why you could see Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has won four states from 6 states in southwest. That is, he is from southwest. That is the reason why you could see Atiku Abubakar doing so well in northeast. That's where he came from. And he's pulling so much vote from northwest, which Tinubu is dragging with him.
Let me introduce Hansen Ajiman real quick. Hansen Ajiman is with the Citi Newsroom, and he's joining us with a preliminary statement of an observer mission, a joint one actually. He will be giving us those details. But I also understand that Olufemi is back. We lost him earlier. Olufemi is a journalist in Nigeria, works with Rave FM, and he has covered the elections in Osun State. He was giving us some details with respect to the outcome of the elections in Osun State, and of course, typically or generally, the elections. Thank you. Let me ask you, you said that the gap between the APC and PDP, as called in Osun, was just about some 10,000 votes. I want to find out the performance of the Labour Party in Osun and what type of a telling it will have on the elections.
Well, so I mean, for here in Osun, anywhere in the southwest, and that explains some of the very interesting dynamics to this election. The Labour Party also contested the governorship election 6 months earlier in Osun State, despite the fact that Peter Obi came to Osun State to campaign for the candidate, Lasun Yusuf, that time. They got barely 5,000 votes. And so it's the same situation here. I think they got less than, I can't pull it off my head now because everybody's attention is on the PDP and APC. But they've not had a good showing in Osun State. They got less than 20,000 votes in Osun. It's not been a good showing for Labour Party here in Osun, and probably much in other parts of the southwest. Outside, it's only in Lagos State in the southwest that you've seen Labour Party do strongly.
Have accounted for this, because you would expect that he himself being a Southerner, he would have done better.
All right, so Nigeria is made up of 6 regions, and like I said earlier on before the line went off, ethnicity is, people cling to their ethnic, sentiments quite strongly here in Nigeria. It's one of our, flaws as a country. The same for religion. So when 6 regions and 36 states and hundreds of ethnic, ethnic nationalities. So the big 3 are the Hausa, Fulani, the Yoruba, and the Igbo. But you have Ijaw, you have TV, you have other, sizable ethnic nationalities. So the Southwest, one of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country for administrative ease, is not even in the constitution, but is an understanding amongst our political leaders of how to manage is on the platform of a major political party. You expect that there will be, some ethnic consideration and people giving into that, say, it's our son, it's the turn of our son, and indeed we should support him. And so Osun is an outlier in the fact that they do not give in to that in consideration. And if you check the votes, from Osun, over 340,000, beg your pardon, quite high compared to the 3,000, That's why Atiku was able to carry other 4 or 5 states. The other 4 states now, outside of Lagos, where something unusual also happened, are going to vote for their kingsman in Ashwagola Tinubu. Peter Obi is Igbo. Is from the southeast. So you also see the pattern of results coming from the southeast, that his kinsmen are also voting for him in large numbers. I think the only exception that we'll have in the southeast is likely going to be Imo State, where the sitting governor there is of the APC. So these are some of the dynamics. So you may not be able to look at Nigeria alone, a north and south divide. You may need to look at Nigeria, from the prism of the 6 regions, the southwest, the south-south, the southeast, the north central, which is also called the middle belt, and then the far north, the Muslim north of the northwest and the northeast. Before now, if you are going to win elections in Nigeria, you must not lose 3 of these 5 important states. And these states are Kano, Kaduna, Katsina in the north, and Lagos and Rivers in the south. But the pattern of results that we have seen emerging today, and kudos must be given to the states, joking in election analysis here, because these states come with huge numbers. So
this will be what? Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina.
Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina state. Right. Yeah, the KKK Kardashian states. They just come, they just bring huge numbers in millions. So, by now, ordinarily, you have Katsina returning 1.5 million votes, 1.1 million votes for whoever they are going for. And then it alters. You see Kaduna also bringing in 900,000, 1.2 million votes. You see Kano bringing in almost 1.9 million votes. But because of the Beavers machine, the bimodal voters accreditation system machine that INEC introduced, the underage voters, the Almajiri voters, some of them who are not up to voting age, and the fact that when the card reader machine that was used in 2019 is not functional, INEC at that time allows for something that is called the incidence form to be used. The incidence form does not go through the fingerprint biometrics to ascertain if you are the original owner of your card. When the card reader malfunctions, the electoral officer in that unit is allowed to bring out a form and ask people to fill. So a number of malpractices go on behind the scene. People in those parts of the country at that time will ditch the card reader machine and then make use of the incidence forms. So they are able to bring in those millions of votes. Some of these laws are more enforced down south here. But now with the introduction of the Beavers machine, what we have is a nationwide application of the laws. Everybody, irrespective of whether north or south, if the Beavers machine does not read your fingerprints, or fails to read your facial recognition, then that means you're not voting. And Katsina would have turned the table. But the figures we're getting from that side as of now is not what it used to be. So the Kardashian states cannot do the miracle again. And that's why the race is actually tighter than we anticipated.
To get Has this been a reliable source for you?
The IREV ran into problems on Saturday night. So what the Electoral Act stipulates is that the presiding officer at the polling unit shall upload the results. Citizens across the country can also check. And so for the standalone elections, the governorship elections of the different states, for instance, the one that was held in my own state in Osun and the state before it, we were able to track the election such that by 6 p.m., by 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., citizens knew where the election, was headed to. And by 6 a.m. the following morning, we knew who won. But that was a standalone election. And for that election, you have people coming from Abuja, you have all attention focused on one state. So now we have 36 states. We have the entire country, over 700,000 polling units. So it appears that they never envisaged the kind of challenges, so that the IREV ran into problems. So what we are dealing with now as journalists is leveraging on our journalists, people at the different state collation centers. So the way it works is, from when the election is conducted at the polling unit, it moves to the RA unit, that's the registration area, which is the ward, and then from the ward to the local government, from the local government to the constituency, down to the state collation center. So from the state collation center, the result is finally announced by a returning officer, most of whom are professors. Atahiru Jega, since 2015, started introducing academics to man different segments of our electoral process. So from that state level, when the results are announced, the resident electoral commissioner for the state and the returning officer takes that very result to the center in Abuja, where there is a national collation center where the results of the election also will be announced. So what we are doing now is getting results announced at different state level, and that's what journalists are collating. So the results announced at a different state level is what everybody is looking up to now, because the IREV does not have it as much as it should.
Abati, he's a politician, a television anchor, a one-time special advisor on media and publicity to Goodluck Jonathan. He's also joining us from Nigeria with his observations so far. Many thanks to you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed for inviting me. A great pleasure.
Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. How's it going in Nigeria?
Well, a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety about the outcome of the election. For the first time since 1999, Nigerians find it very difficult to predict who exactly the winner will be about 48 hours after the election has taken place. Previously, it was easy to say, well, this is where the election will go. But the only thing that is clear, and the only reason that is the case, is that this is the most competitive election since 1999 to civilian rule. And incidentally, it's been 100 years since the first set of elections were held in Nigeria. 100 years ago, September 1923, of 1920, 100 years, by September it will be precisely 100 years, and now here we are. And part of it has been deepened by the failure of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, at the level of logistics, at the level of infrastructure, at the level, if you like, of competence, I may say so, of the ad hoc officials and also of some of the officials recruited for the purpose of election management. Why is this something remarkable? It's because bimodal voter accreditation system, and also what is called the INEC reporting portal, INEC Rev, they call it, IREV.
Yeah.
And what INEC promised is that reports will be uploaded from the polling units, transparent. But INEC reports, results were not collated and uploaded online real time. And so this has given, scope to speculations on the part of political parties, on the part of stakeholders, on the part of civil society observers and monitors. So that's where we are at this moment. But the good news is that yesterday, at 10 minutes after 1 in the afternoon, the chairman of INEC declared open the National Coalition Center, which is situated at the International Conference Center. And he addressed the press at that 1 o'clock. The meeting adjourned. He came back at 6 p.m. He addressed the media again in the evening. And, by yesterday evening, the results from Ekiti were announced. Today now, 3 other states have been announced at that National Coalition Center. The results from Ondo State, the results from Kwara State. So far, 4 states have been announced at the National Nigerians had expected that, as INEC promised, that results will be known almost immediately. So don't be surprised if there is a little delay in the final collation of results. But INEC, in spite of all the problems that we have seen, what INEC itself calls technical glitches, whatever that means, how they have defined it is not the way many Nigerians. Major political candidates, they are calling for calm. Only Labour Party is calling for cancellation of results in some parts of the country. That is where we are at this moment.
Doc, I was coming to you on that.
The worst of times.
I was coming to you on that, on the posturing and the conduct of the various parties so far. We've seen some press conferences, we've seen some speeches being made and all that. What do you make of the conduct of the parties themselves since Saturday till now?
Well, you recall that in September last year, the various political parties signed a peace accord. That was repeated. Second peace accord was signed just before the elections. Now, what we have seen since the election is that the political parties, the 3 major ones, have been involved in accusations and counter-accusations. The PDP addressed a press conference today at which the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Council had all its spokespersons there. And they were saying that they are convinced that the All Progressives Congress Party of Ashok should not allow itself to be used. The PDP is also complaining about the failure of INEC to upload the results onto the central server. But the ironic thing is that the APC is saying the same thing about PDP. Festus Keyamo, spokesperson of the of the All Progressives Congress APC, yesterday said, look, INEC is also colluding. INEC officials are colluding with the PDP to delay results and manipulate results. The APC is also accusing the Labour Party of trying to organize youth protests in different parts of the had a press conference yesterday. Its chairman, Julius Abure, that's his name, also alleged that there have been so many discrepancies in the polling process and manipulations by the APC, and that INEC should cancel results, should cancel the outcome in many polling stations, particularly the party claims in Rivers State and in other states of the Federation. So we have these accusations, counter accusations right now. But we just hope at this to the two-peace accords that they signed and give peace a chance. Why is that important? Because in Lagos, where the Labour Party has disrupted the political map by winning the presidential election, leading the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State by more than 10,000 votes, we have seen violence. Today, protest violence, persons who come from the same ethnic stock with Peter Obi being attacked in parts of Lagos, and also, you know, people is that issued a statement calling on all his supporters in Lagos State. After all, this election is about the people's choice, and it's the will of the people that must be allowed to prevail.
Right. Now, clearly a case of accusations and counter-accusations, and the fear of its impact on the work of INEC. How important then is it that the National Coalition Center has been opened, and of course the Chief Commissioner has been addressing the
is the chief returning officer for the entire country when it comes to the presidential election. And that's why you see him sitting down there. Yesterday, he outlined the guidelines for the reporting. The returning officers from the states and the state coalition officers will be protected by security, and they will go to the National Coalition Center, the secretariat, that will then prepare the results, and then the results will be prepared and will be presented in the open. And that is what we have seen with the presentation of the report from Ekiti State, from Ondo State, and from the two other states, Osun State in particular, you know, that have been presented. And you have the chairman of the Electoral Commission sitting there. So there is a process that is in place. And every political party is represented in that hall. All the observer missions are represented in that hall. Civil society stakeholders, the media, they are all represented in that hall. So what the INEC has been trying to do is, as the results come from the states, they try to present it on live television so that every Nigerian can see. And the INEC chairman had said that occasionally they will go on recess and then return with the continuation of the report. So what we're likely to find is that when they come from recess, more, you know, presentations will be made from the various states, and at the end of the day, we'll be anxious, because even now you cannot predict it. But should a runoff, should we get to the point of a runoff where INEC says it is also prepared, because they printed double the number of ballot papers.
But do you see that happening though? Do you see a runoff happening?
Well, the issue of the runoff is addressed in section 134 of It says, 1, you have to win the majority of the votes. 2, in section 1342, the law says you have to win a quarter of the votes, that's 25%, in 2/3 of the states of the Federation. 2/3 of 36 states will be 24. But the conundrum here has to do with section 299 of the 1999 Constitution, which defines the Federal Capital Territory as a state. So are we talking about 2/3 of 36? Are we talking about 2/3 of 37? So that's one provision there. But again, that same section 134 goes further to say, in the event of a runoff, who qualifies for a runoff? It's not automatically the party or the candidate with the next largest, majority number of votes. No, whoever is going to go for that runoff must have shown a better showing in a major fight between two political and the APC. It has the spread in 25. INEC finishes the collation of results.
Right. Now, Doc, finally, before we let you go, I mean, the Electoral Act 2022 introduced much needed reforms to ensure increased transparency. Where do you think INEC got it wrong, for which reason it has contributed to these high levels of anxiety and suspicion with the results received so far?
Brought up a lot of innovations, not just with regard to what is the form of voting that will be allowed. Section 50 of that law talks about open secret balloting. Section 54 talks about the symbol of political parties. So many provisions there. There are sections of that law that talks about INEC being properly funded and the funding for INEC being front-loaded. Okay, so there are this election. I'm trying to be brief, so that I don't take too much of your time. What have we seen is the violation of the law by INEC itself. INEC itself did not arrive early at the polling units. In some of the polling units, INEC officials did not show up until after 2 p.m. when the election was supposed to end. But what we have seen is the resilience of the Nigerian people. Some people slept overnight with mattresses in the polling units. To vote, no matter how long it takes. In many parts of the country, people went to the polling units with torchlights and lanterns, and they stayed till midnight, insisting that they must vote. The beauty of this election has been the resilience, the determination of the Nigerian people. The second thing, we have also seen some of our leaders breaking the law. Section 122 of the Electoral Act talks about secret balloting. You are supposed to vote in secret.
Yeah.
You are not supposed to advertise how you voted. If you advertise, this is a violation of the law. But the first man to violate the law was the president of Nigeria himself. When he finished voting, he was brandishing his ballot paper to show that he voted for his own party. Now, Section 122, subsection 4 of the Electoral Act 2022 of Nigeria prescribes that the punishment for that is 100,000 naira fine or 3 months imprisonment or a combination of both. And he was not alone. Other political leaders, Governor Samuel Otom was brandishing his own form too. Even the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, the chief. The laws of the land. So these are some of the contradictions that we have seen, but we just hope that lessons will be learned. But our fear is that they may from this election. So 2 things. There may well be a lot of litigations, and many of the elections being determined ultimately by the judiciary. Number 2, there's another election on March 11, the election for governors and members of the State House of Assembly. We hope will be addressed. 3, the security agencies dropped the ball. Can you imagine a situation whereby in cases of voter suppression, voter intimidation, vote buying, the security agencies became spectators? In Lagos State, the spokesperson of the Lagos Police Command said there was nothing the police could do. That when a mob attacks a police station, what would the police do? Is the police supposed to talk like that? In Kano State, there was a case of underage voting. Small children below the age of 18, they were carrying voters' cards. When the state police commissioner was interviewed, the most intelligent thing is for you to consider whether that is intelligent or not. That by just looking at a person. So if somebody is underage, if somebody is a toddler carrying a PVC, as we call it in Nigeria, a permanent voter's card, the commissioner of police is not intelligent enough to know that this is a child. He was more or less saying that's not his job. We expect that the security agencies will not play deaf and dumb, and blind people will not be sent to man polling stations. But the EFCC did well. They were able to apprehend some people who were trying to do vote buying through electronic transfer. And the EFCC also accosted persons who were moving money up and down. But the police was not in a position to check voter intimidation, voter suppression, or to even identify underage, because ourselves in Nigeria. But
indeed, interesting times. Very interesting times. Thank you so much, Dr. Reuben Abati. We're most grateful. A television anchor, a newspaper columnist. Well, it was a one-time special advisor to President Goodluck Jonathan on media and publicity. Very eloquent there, as we all heard him speak. Clearly raised some interesting points there.
You know, Dr. Abati is somebody that you enjoy anytime he speaks about, not only on politics, every area of life, and very brilliant, one of the brilliant Nigerians that some of us are looking up to. But sometimes he normally play politics with some of his statements. You could see some of what Doctor was saying.
Well, he is a politician.
So that's the part I don't always like to see about him when he speaks towards the direction of PDP. You know, when he speaks toward, but you know, you can't take away his brilliance. But let's look at the statistics. Concentrate on, and we'll be able to build on the areas that we believe that we have not done. But there is no how anybody will be the president of Nigeria from those errors. Those errors are just minus number. So, and that's what we should be putting out. People should not be promoting a little problem so that people will see that the election was not fair and credible.
But
the observers...
You don't call that little, especially for the fact that, okay, we have areas where little children were voting. That is not a little problem. That is a serious problem.
I'm not going out of that. But I also cannot determine that this is like what he said, the police said. If you see Aki and Popo, because they are short, can you say that they are not...
So let's be fair.
Let me make my point. Let me make my point.
Come on.
It should be condemned.
Exactly.
It should be condemned.
It
But
is
what
illegal.
I'm saying is that we should not promote that so that it will look as if the election, we should not use that to rubbish the generality of the election. So that the international community will look at it that the
You think
election
the flaws are
credible.
insignificant compared to the achievements?
Look at Mr. Olufemi was telling you is that before when the election results are coming from KKK, Kaduna, Kanu, Kastina, you will be saying 1 point something million.
Yeah.
So the introduction of beavers, nobody is praising INEC for that. INEC has been making noise. They have been shouting for the past 2 weeks that, look, they've been having meeting with the CBN governor that, look, this scarcity of Naira will affect them. They have to pay for logistics, they have to pay for adult stuff. Nobody is talking about it. All the Arise news of Dr. Abacha and all of them, they were supporting the CBN policy and all those stuff. And when the problems come now, they are now saying that the INEC came late.
Now they are sounding more like a spokesperson for INEC than...
Exactly.
No. Look. You see, INEC is our institution. It's a Nigerian institution. It doesn't belong to any political party. And I must not rubbish the INEC because it's an institution that is giving the entire country a new leader. So they will have some errors. We should expect that. But we should not take that, we should not take the perfection or what they have introduced that have made us better. I've told you about what I've not seen an election since 1999 that there is no obvious vote buying. And if that happens, most of you would have seen the video where they will be sending the video, and nothing like that has circulated. So appreciate where we have.
But that's the problem with Africa. We keep managing our errors and trying to cover it up and not be accountable for it. And then things keep going wrong because we're always trying to cover, protect the image. We care so much about images that we just sweep the truth under the carpet every time.
My sister,
hold on. Let me conclude with Olufemi. He's still on, joined us via Zoom. He is a journalist with Rave FM in Nigeria. Let me wrap up with him, and then I can come to Hansen, because another angle of elections is the observer missions or the observations that go on. He has a statement, and he will be giving us the details per that preliminary statement. It needs to be made clear that this statement is a preliminary statement by the Joint Observer Mission. Olufemi, thank you so much for staying on with us. We appreciate your patience so much. Let's take your final words on the Nigeria elections 2023, and in the coming hours, in the coming days, what should be our expectation now that the National Coalition Center is officially open? The chief returning officer has been addressing the press periodically. What should be our expectations?
Well, so I mean, I think the anxiety will heighten, the uncertainty. I mean, like it's been said, you know, a closely fought election like this since 1990. That's my biggest fear at the moment, about people, supporters of different political parties, not agreeing or accepting the eventual outcome of this election. There's been concerns in some quarters. There's been, you know, incidences of violence, voter suppression. I do not know. I cannot say if they are huge enough to impact on the eventual outcome of the election. At the National Coalition Center, we've seen party agents and party representatives making objections about some of the results of the elections. But ultimately, we've never had an election this keenly contested, such that 42 hours after the election, Nigerians cannot hazard a guess as to who will be the eventual winner. As of this morning, as of this afternoon, the three leading parties are all laying claim to victory. That's a recipe to some, you know, God forbid, no Nigeria's checkered history, political violence, and all of that. And I'm more worried about supporters of political parties not accepting the eventual outcome of the result. That's my major concern here. I hope that the what's happening, and then to, you know, I do not think that these incidences are huge enough to impact on the eventual outcome of these elections. But hopefully by Wednesday, the election management body should be able to make an official announcement of the winner of this election.
All right, thank you very much. Olufemi Olanipekun is a journalist in Nigeria. He works with Rave 91.7 FM. He joined us from Osun State, where he has been covering the elections, and he's given us some insight with respect to the elections in Osun and generally in Nigeria. Now, Hansen Ajiman, let me come to you now. This is a 40-person delegation with members from 20 countries, and this was led by Dr. Joyce Banda, former president of as an observer mission to the Nigerian elections.
So, to a large extent, they are saying, and they look at the perception of Nigerians. They brought out their findings with regards to the pre-electioneering process and also their views on the collation process. So they've touched on issues on security. When it comes to perception, to a large extent, this group, and we must state that the NDI, which is the National Democratic Institute, and then the IRI, which is the International Republican Institute. They have been observing Nigerian elections since 1999 after the move from military rule into democratic rule. Now, the first point they make is that the observation that to a large extent, a number of Nigerians are not satisfied with how INEC has organized the election. And of course, if you go to social media, Twitter specifically, after the election, we've seen the sort of reaction that a number of Nigerians have given as far as this election is concerned. They've also indicated that this particular election, if you look at it, it was organized with a deteriorating security situation. And even though there had been that peace pact that was signed by the 18 presidential candidates, and in some extreme instances, we've seen people being killed or assassinated. So particularly when it comes to around somewhere on February 22, that's within 36 hours of this particular second pact that was signed. The Observer Group is telling us that that a Labour Party senatorial candidate for Enugu East, Oyubo Chukwu, along with 5 of his supporters, were killed. Security, we have been told that we've recorded twice the violence that was recorded in 2023. So, to read specifics, election-related violence significantly marred the pre-election period. According to analysis of armed conflict location and event data, project data, in 2022, there were almost twice as many acts of violence compared to the same period. The trend continued in January 2023. Records of election violence were higher than any previous month. From April 2022 through to election day, there were at least 18 reported assassinations or assassination attempts against candidates and party leaders, including targets from all major parties. So this has to do with pre-election security. Now, election day violence, the Observer Group is saying that at least 18 states recorded various acts of. We'll talk about the doc indicated. The Observer Group noted that polls started late in most of the polling stations. As a result, the time for end of voting had to be extended. Again, when it comes to the BVA machines and then the new equipment that were used by INEC, some challenges with respect to the electoral officers not knowing how exactly to go about its usage also resulted or marred the election in general. And about the IREV, which is the portal that has been created by INEC to transmit results where people can monitor. The observer mission time, they were reporting about 30% of presidential result forms were available on this particular and on. And just to end, we've been bringing viewers some of our results that have been coming our own way. Now there are results that we received from the Adamawa State, which is in northeast Nigeria. Earlier, Bernard reported that in Gombe State, their results have come in. Not all results have come in for Adamawa.
We know that about 4 states have come in.
Yes, so for North. $21 electoral areas, if I can put it that way, the LGAs, the local government areas, and out of them 12 are in. And just to go through some of them, Lamede local government area, APC 3,645 votes, the Labour Party 9,744, PDP 9,912. Now, in the Gareg local government area, APC 8,551, Labour Party 3,745, PDP 17,557, and then the Sheleng local government area, APC 6,213, Labour Party 1,023, the PDP 14,765, and the Tongo local government 3, Labour Party 651, and the PDP 7,401. In the Ghana local government area, APC 10,112, Labour Party 1,069, PDP 21,672, and so these are just about 12 of the 21, as I've indicated, as and when more of these local government areas come in, the total view of how the Adamawa State is looking will bring to our viewers.
All right. Thank you very much, Hansen. Let me just take your final words and then we can wrap up on really, how should we behave?
We should all keep our calm and just pray for the best, because at the end of the day, none of us want any election violence. So I just, whatever that happens, it's still one Nigeria at the end of the day. Whatever happens, still one Nigeria.
Every polling unit. So they should not play politics on Nigerians. We will not allow that. We will not tolerate their political attitude. They should not allow us to have post-violence after the election. So let's focus. And I'm telling Nigerians, please, 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 we don't have any other nation. And there is no nation can accept us when problems comes out. So please, let's calm down and accept whatever that comes out. So if anybody did not agree with it, they should proceed to court.
All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Otumba Lukman Taiwo Bakari, Public Affairs Director, APC West Africa, who for a minute sounded like the spokesperson for the INEC. Thank you so much. Chris Carter is here with us at Citi TV. She's a co-host on the Breakfast Daily Show. Hansen Ajiman is my colleague at the Citi Newsroom. Earlier, Bernard Avler was here, host of the Citi Breakfast Show 97.3. You heard Richard De La Sky. They were hosted by Umaru Sanda Amadu, host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM as well. Now, we did go to Nigeria, where we heard from Barry Indo. He's the publicity secretary of the PDP's Ghana chapter. We heard from a journalist, Olufemi Olani Pekun, who works with Rave FM in Nigeria. Then we did hear from Dr. Ruben Abati, a Nigerian journalist, a politician, and a one-time special advisor to His Excellency President Goodluck Jonathan. My name is Nanatufo Boateng. This has been our coverage of Nigeria's elections. Many thanks to you for making time to join us. Keep watching Citi TV.
The Heritage Caravan 2023 is officially sold out. Get ready for 7 exciting days of adventure through 14 incredible regions of Ghana with the promise of a rich cultural experience, introspective historical visitations, and exhilarating field days with nature. Prepare for 7 amazing days of a road trip filled with the sights, sounds, and the aura of a diversified people. Get ready because we are going on the expedition of a lifetime to discover Ghana from the 4th to the 11th of March on the Heritage Caravan 2023. Pack your bags and let's set off on this spectacular tour from Greater Accra through to the Volta region, through to Eastern region, Ashanti region, Upper East region, Savannah region, Northern region, through to Northeast, Bono region, Ahafa region, Bono East region, Western North, Western region, and the Central region of Ghana. A journey full of fun, education, information, wonderful memories, and great bonding moments await you on the Heritage Caravan 2023. The Heritage Caravan 2023 is powered by Citi TV in partnership with the Ghana Tourism Authority, with support from Citi FM and proudly sponsored by Holak Ghana, the European Union, Malta Guinness, Ebony Condoms, Royal Company Limited, National Lotteries Authority, Baltic Mineral Water, and Colgate Natural Extracts.
Is this Nani floor? Yes. What is it with pig feet? No.
Ghana is a country that's full of historical antecedents and rich cultural heritage. What is a rich cultural heritage without soul food? And what is soul food without a touch of ethnicity? And what is ethnicity if it's not from your village? The season of all things Ghanaian is upon us, and we are here to celebrate an aspect of our Ghanaianness with the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar, happening live from the 25th to the 26th of March 2023 at the forecourt of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Come, let's treat ourselves to delectable, authentic Ghanaian cuisine from the northern, the middle, and the southern zones of the country that reflect our true cultural diversity. While at it, we'll be jamming to genuine Ghanaian music amidst games, competitions, storytelling, and so much more. Interested vendors of indigenous foods are invited to register. Don't let this be another missed opportunity. Call 0205-973-973 to book a stand and be part of the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar 2023. Anyamime, the country make hot too. So come, let's enjoy some good food, resounding music, heartfelt camaraderie, and remind ourselves why Ghana is still our home at the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar on the 25th and the 26th of March 2023 at the forecourt of the AMA from 8 a.m. each day. The Back to Your Village Food Bazaar is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Baltic Ghana Limited and Malta Guinness.
It's Citi on the go. You don't have to miss any of your favorite television and radio shows on Citi TV and Citi FM. Enjoy thrilling content from your world of great television and relevant radio at your convenience. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube, turn on your notification button, and receive prompts on our live streaming sessions and new content uploads. For easy access to the CityTube page, scan the QR code on your screens, subscribe to the CityTube page, and voila! Unlimited content awaits you. Don't forget to subscribe to CityTube for amazing content from Citi TV and Citi FM.
Hello and welcome to 2020 News, live from our studio at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tessanor in Accra. My name is Kweku Ediama, and coming up in this broadcast, coalition of individual bondholders groups, including pensioner bondholders, have stationed at the Finance Ministry to demand the payment of matured bonds that were not tendered under the debt exchange program. Also coming up, one person arrested for defrauding a parent at the Free SHS Placement Center in Accra. Let's bring you details now. And a coalition of individual bondholders groups made up of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, Individual Bondholders Association of Ghana, and the Individual Bondholders Forum have stationed at the Finance Ministry to demand the payment of matured bonds that were not tendered under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. Government failed to honor coupon and principal payments that matured on the 6th and the 20th of February, although the Finance Minister promised to pay on February 21, 2023 after the settlement period of the DDEP. Let's get more on this because my colleague Charles Osukumi is joining me over the telephone.